Yeah, 0. You're live. You're live. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go share it to your page just to be sure. Let me see here. Let me find it first. Yeah, we're going to have to catch up on screen.
That's how the guidance said to do it. It said,
That's
don't
the way to do it.
chat on the private call here.
That is the best way to do it. Where did it go? Where is it? Uh-oh. Huh. Well, there's 8 people here, so here we are. 13. Okay, so they're coming. All right, so I'm going to share it to your page, the Unity Grace page. Let's see here. Who's been in hibernation? Let's see. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. How do I do that? Okay. Copy link. Copy link. Go to Unity Grace. Post. Oh, I can't post. So I'll.
Oh,
wait a minute. Let me look at your page. I bet you it's already on your page. It's at the top of your page. Okay.
Yeah,
so
and I just added this link to my.
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go. And then we got 37 people in the house. We got Michelle Below, Krishan Agrawal, Nisia is back, Richard Lowry, Dina Doucet, Jody Lee's in the house, Michael Van Patten, 15 other people. I don't know who they are. Ruthie Thompson, Laws Mitchell's back. Erica Parks, Darla Diaz, Marianne Patlack. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Elfie Shantz, Leslie Zerman, Wendy Hall Umstead. Yes, let's build our new world. Soul brothers and sisters with Todd and Unity Grace. Linda Lundengren. Chris is in the house. Tolik. How's it going, buddy? Angel Divine, Jessica Taylor, Patricia Ecton. Yvanya's in the house. She's going to be on right after this show. From Tasmania. Summer Isabel and Kate Carter. Yeah. So we are going to jump right into it. I can't get everybody on the roll call. Let's formally roll this show out. We have done some powerful shows together, and with our esteemed, beloved sister here, Unity Grace. This is Soul Speaks 5D. I'm Todd Medina. For those of you who don't know me, this is the Soulogy.1 network in the making. It's not live yet, but we're moving that direction through the unknown. As we all know, the universe doesn't hand us anything on a silver platter that makes us go through these doors of fear and all these other things. But we're doing it. We're all doing it. And as always, Unity and I, we connect in an etherical level. So we had very few messages back and forth. And I just know the word avatar came up. And so I just want to say welcome back to Soul Speaks 5D, our beautiful, beloved sister, Unity Grace. Thank you for sharing space, honoring us with your presence today. How are you doing?
So good to be with you, Todd, and everybody. And oh, wow, so good to be with you. And by the way, you look amazing.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what happened?
I just cut you out. You said I look what? I heard you look something. That's all I heard. Do I look older? I'm older.
You just wanted me to say it twice. You look amazing.
Oh, you think so? Well, I turned 57 in December, and not that it means anything, because it really doesn't. But let me just share this out a little bit. Yeah, but thank you for saying that. You know, thank you for saying that. I've been told I'm an old man now.
Nice T-shirt.
Nice T-shirt. Yeah. I got this 3 for $12 in Phoenix when I went to Sedona. Yeah, well, the last time we did a show was in Sedona, right before I left.
And I just came in on the phone.
Yeah, it's right before I left, and that was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one. Lots happened since then. I mean, you went into hibernation, and like a lot of people did, which was good medicine, and we had that 12/21 solstice, which was just an ass kicker. And then we had, January 1, and every day's been, wow. What is it? What's going on? You got any intel for us?
Yeah.
Fill in the blanks. What's happening?
The Book of Love and the Tree of Life is happening just like we knew it was, and that we knew we were a part of. And so grateful for our beautiful connection on so many levels, etheric and so many more. And for the pod that's been staying with you out there on the forefront, and many of us did receive the message to pull back. It's the first time I've ever received the message to pull back, and it occurred in September. And it ties back into this thing about Project Jason that I've spoken of before, that the Chinese elders had spoken of. July, August, September, October, November would be this cocooning phase where fractals were working out their polarities in an intensified way, such that we could actually achieve pods of unity consciousness on the earth. And that's who's here with us. And that's why you're doing .1 and we're doing .love, and we're taking the airways over, because this is what we came for. So we are using the this is a really good metaphor that Richard uses in the 60th gene. I talk about the 60th gene all of the time. And the metaphor is to use the old rootstock for a young sapling to be spliced into it, and then that young sapling blooms with the new energy, the new idea, and so on. And so that's why we withdrew from the airways of the old, while that rootstock hardened up, and many of the energies that were in interference patterns with unity consciousness left.
Yeah.
Now the rootstock is there, and the web is available for the higher purpose plan, which, as Richard explains in the 60th gene, is all about structure. When we create simple structure, not rigid structure, which is what we were releasing, the simple structure is the structure that invites magic to flow. And so as this new earth energy is truly embodying into us and through us now, we're using the internet in a way that is going to exponentiate the message that it's game over. We already knew that long ago, and we have become the vessels of the 60th gene and the 9th wave, which is true unity consciousness on the earth. Yeah. And so that's what's occurring through us, and it's a very exciting time. It's also a very it's a time to get super refined about how we do this, and to do this together.
How do we do this?
Number one.
You know me, I'm real basic. 1 + 1 = 3 now, not 2. But
you're going to love what part of what we're creating, because as I've shared before, for the last 4.5 months, there's been a beautiful pod working with me that has been recording all of the transmissions coming through and transcribing them. And we are turning those into something very simple called Flight Lessons 101, which gives the very basic, how do we do this? So
I need to make an announcement. Lawrence Wendell just got that link I sent you is to come into the studio. Well, that's okay.
Okay.
But the one I sent you last was to come into the studio. So Lawrence, if you can hear me, go to Unity's page or my page, and the live is on there. That was actually a link for her to come into the studio.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So that's okay. It's okay. It's happened before. It's no big deal.
Perfect.
The 3D we still struggle with the 3D. So well, back to, how do we do this? How do we consciously do this? I know that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. So the number one thing that we do is work together. It's pod consciousness. So because there is now this massive influx of new energies coming into us that is transmuting the DNA faster than we can imagine, we must find pods that are resonant. That's really what the July, August, September, October was about. If something didn't resonate, move away from it, you were in the wrong fractal. We should all be shaken out by now and in the proper fractals. And if we're still feeling lost, then open to a greater collective plan, because there is a pod that is waiting for each person to come together. Yeah. Because in order to facilitate this energy flowing through us, we actually all need bigger projects to focus on than ourselves. If we don't have them, we are lost in the energetics, and we probably feel like we're going crazy.
Well, I can attest to that. I think I wanted to leave a couple of days ago. It's like, let's get me out of here. But no, I think what you're saying, okay, makes a lot of sense. We spend a lot of time transforming ourselves. People talked about it. People talk about 2019, year of expansion, year of sovereignty. It all blends together. Is this part of the reason that we're seeing people end up in places like Kauai where they shouldn't be, and it makes no sense at all, and it's a day-to-day existence? But there are a lot of people getting displaced, and like that unseen hand of providence is moving them around. People also talk about soul tribe. Is this the same type of thing you're talking about?
Absolutely. People started to listen because 2018 was the final reckoning with the higher self to take over the reins, to say, you stop this. You're supposed to be over here now.
Yeah.
And so this is the beauty of it, because so many people listened and left relationships and went through the torment of leaving so much of their lives or going through transition with it. And this is where the joy begins to filter through, because it's all starting to make sense now. And we are in the right places to allow this new creation to flow through us. So like I say, if people are still feeling lost and confused, it is only because they have not found their core fractal to be a part of. It's called synarchy. Richard speaks about it in the Gene Keys. Synarchy is when we start to work in group consciousness, just like the bees in a hive. Different bees have different areas to work in, and they stay with that part of the hive.
Yeah.
And so if you are in a group project and it is lighting you up and it feels effervescent and easy and playful and super abundant, even if there's no money changing hands, then you are in the right place. And if not, guaranteed and promised, raise your vibration and you will be called to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think of this old kind of it was a book I read, and it was a business book back in my old career, and it talked about when you build an organization, an energy. It starts out immature, then it becomes fragmented, then it becomes cohesive, then it becomes synergetic, and that's where all the symbiotic relationships develop. The other thing I can think about too is I've tried to launch and relaunch and launch and relaunch, blow up and relaunch. The playfulness, the effervescence that you're talking about, that's real. That's a real sign. If it's forced, if it doesn't feel right, sometimes you got to shake hands and part company. It doesn't mean you lose friendships. It doesn't mean anything like that. It just means that it's not the right mix, because I'm sure there's got to be fractals within the fractal within the fractal. You know what I mean? And we're all a big part of this giant jigsaw puzzle. So that makes a lot of sense. I'm glad you brought that up, because it is about feeling now. I think it's about feeling. It's not the thinking so much and the talking. It's the feeling, and we've got to honor that.
100%. And one of the things we have to release our attachment with is money. Money will dissolve away on its own, but that has been this piece that has motivated the consciousness to go completely against the tide. And so, as an example, the group that has been working with me, playing with me, we like to say, really for 6 months since the middle of the summer, and then consistently for 4 months from September through December. We haven't collected a penny of external funds, and all of the transmissions keep coming through with these magical revelations that keep unlocking the consciousness from these old belief systems. And every time the transmissions come through, everyone on the crew goes, oh, and has a quantum leap in their consciousness. And it unlocks so much more potential in our group. So we have a group of people who are making a social media network who have no training or quotation marks expertise in this. And why is it working for us? Because there is so much love here. Mm-hmm. So much true superabundance flowing through, which is the unlocking of the consciousness from old belief systems of limitation and what the world looks like or how we have to operate inside of it.
Yeah.
We are the free energy. And so the more that we find the right crew, the mystical third comes through our voice together and starts informing us. And we all go, oh my goodness, what is this? Because it's the communion between us from a higher source, because we've shown ourselves our willingness to come together in communion together.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's a powerful thing, because it puts the focus on the direct relationship between two or more people, you know, and there's no hiding. The proof is in the pudding. Yeah. And I struggled with that myself, because of course, you know, we all have, you know, we come out of this 3D thing. We talked about this. We've talked about it. Other people have talked about it on the show. How do you make this transition? We've been doing this stuff for free, but I understand what you're saying, because it doesn't necessarily rule out, and I'm sure money will fade away at some point. Resources come in all forms and fashions. And we've all experienced that on a day-to-day basis, in a moment-by-moment basis, when you're like looking at the other one going, what the hell are we going to do? And the next thing you know, you get a phone call and you've got a place to stay, you know, or whatever the case may be.
That's exactly. And so much more now, because not only now is it that survival piece of the external of we've got a place to stay, but what is unlocking is the human potential. So one of the transmissions that came through had everyone in our crew stop saying thank you to each other. And now we say, thank me, I love me. And when we say it, we know that that is a reflection to the other, that we are thanking them and we love them. But everything the guidance is teaching us is to involute it back into the center of who we are. No more external giving to the old reflection. And so in our crew, when we practice this, when Eloane looks at me and she goes, I love me, I know that she is reflecting that not only to me, but the whole crew. And we are not honoring some old reflection. We are bringing it back in to supercharge these systems as the avatars come in.
Yeah. Now, what does that mean, the avatars come in?
Well,
what does that mean?
So Avatar is a great movie, a great example. You know, when they go into the machine and then next thing you know, they're inside the avatar, the body of the avatar. Same. So physical ascension versus all the other forms of ascension mean the meeting of the higher forms of grace, that octave that connects the physical flesh suit and the higher self that has been working with us to come through. So there's 7 sacred bodies called the Corpus Christi of the human being. And all of those systems start to come online. And so I was at Bikram's yoga the other day. And in the beginning of the postures, the guidance came in and said, the avatars have landed. And I noticed that when I was doing my practice that I've done many times, it was completely different. It was like my body was being operated from a higher consciousness, and poses that used to be more difficult have now become more simple and obvious to do. So we can play with this, and we want to play with this, and we want to say, has my avatar come through? And we want to use our physical vessels to try new things, even if it's just balancing on one foot. Because that all this transmutation that we've gone through in the psyche and energetically, all these waves that are coming in and the purgings and the crisis, Now we get to begin to test it out in the physical form, which is what the coordinate 2019 is all about. Is us truly liberating ourselves. We still look like human bodies, maybe caterpillars when they turn into butterflies, maybe they still perceive that they're in the butterfly form.
Yeah.
Everything feels and is experienced different. And it is all called sovereign. This is the most important piece of it. This is why with all the meditations and all of the crew that has been with me, everything we do, every iota of consciousness that tries to be polarized and leap outside of us, the guidance has us continually fold it back in. Anything that has a charge. So in our crew, when the crew thanks me for something that's a transmission I've offered, I always say, no charge. No charge. We use that expression as no money, but no charge now means no polarized charge, no positive or negative in the system. It's all about neutral, not from the mind, not from the mind. It's an energetic that we get to. We can use our mind to practice it, but ultimately we start to go, wow, something feels really different here now.
Yeah. Sounds like the avatar connotation is the higher self is in the house. And also I like what you say too, using the standing on one foot or whatever it may be. It only would make sense because one thing that seems to be very certain since the very tail end of December, I know it happened to me and Morgan and several other people have talked about the physical ramifications of ascension have been front and center, you know, going through these illnesses, going through these conditions, viruses, whatever, infections. And it's clearly been an energetic thing, even though it was very physical. But I love what you said, because if the higher self is in the house, that means that it's in every cell of us in a way that it wasn't before, which means that every cell has that limitlessness and we can start playing with it and testing it. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
100%. And talk to your cells. Speak to your DNA. This is what one of the love streams was that I did the other day was, you know, like literally we have the capacity to go in and turn on and off the switches inside the DNA. So it's like once we start to get the visual metaphor to go, you mean my spirit is like water that's pouring itself into the form? And if that's so, then my consciousness can actually go into the cells and turn certain things off and certain things on, which is a fact that is known about DNA from science. Yes, the higher self is in the house, the higher self is in the cells. And now this is one thing that I've been sharing with the pod, which has really been amazing for me and my experiences in my meditations, because there is such a massive transfiguration. When I go to bed at night, my consciousness no longer sleeps. And my body is resting, and it's like the entire night being under the stars with the cosmos learning, and I'm fully conscious. It's completely different. The consciousness where we are going, we can't even compare it to how we were operating from the two hemispheres of the brain. And so we are getting to experience the two simultaneously. And one of the things that's been really beautiful and powerful for me, this whole thing about us, we've been seeking the beloved for so long, and the beloved has been this union with the higher octave of who we are. So as it comes in more and more refined ways, every time I go into meditation, what's so beautiful is how gentle and loving this higher consciousness is to the body and the remnants of our personality, which we've been dissolving. When it's coming in, this is like what the true meaning of making love is, the higher self coming in and just helping the personality and helping the physical flesh to relax in, to letting more and more of it in. And that's what I'm experiencing, is greater consciousness that is so benevolent and gentle inside of this flesh.
Yeah, I think that's a key word, relax. Lawrence Blackburn from the Big Island was on the show a couple hours ago. And I asked him, what advice would you give? He's been a practitioner for many, many years. What advice would you give to somebody who's just waking up in this time? And he said, relax. That's all he said. That was his answer, relax. But it makes a lot of sense, because we all know the constrictions that not being relaxed puts on the body. We've dealt with that as we've cleared the chakras and all the stuff that we've done, like you said, all the transmutation that we've done. So that's a big word. I really, really, that resonated with me today. And now that you said it, that's further alignment. So, it's and the other thing too, I find that it's been such a complicated thing. There's been so many voices and everybody's putting it out there, but it's seeming to move into more of a simplicity. It is a different program altogether. We're operating totally different. It's a totally new operating system, which takes a little getting used to.
100% simplicity, and the complicated pieces were the ending of all of the stories and archetypes, which is why it was so complicated and hyper active in 2018. Because when I was guided at Standing Rock to take a group to Egypt in 2017 in August, the guidance said on the 10th of August, after we did all these other things, we would go to the top of Mount Sinai and bring all the stories to an end. That's why it was so complicated, because everyone was coming back to the center with different archetypal stories to reference. And did they all have value and meaning? Yes, of course. And that's what we've put to bed now, so that we can truly ascend beyond the blueprint of 2-strand and 12-strand and 12 archetypes and so on, because we're coming into the wholeness of it all, the center and it's the Messiah and the disciples. It's all merging into one. 12 around the one. That's the wholeness. And just to touch on the piece about relax, because the 40th gene, and this is why I love Richard Rudd's book, which I bring up all the time, The Gene Keys to Help People, because it keeps it simple. There's a scientific aspect, there's an archetypal aspect. It's just a really easy way to navigate. And the 40th gene is known as divine will. And what is it described as in the highest frequency is complete physical relaxation. And he says, the 40th CD remains one of the great mystical chess pieces in human evolution. In the teaching known as the 7 Seals, the 40th CD represents a code in human DNA that will transform humanity on the physical plane. It's all about complete physical relaxation, and it requires a huge process of karmic release, which is what we were doing all the way up to and through 2018. Such that now we can begin to go into that physical relaxation. It's part of the ring of alchemy. And it is about all of these higher bodies coming through. So I always say that ascension is textbook.
Yeah. And the thing that's really jumping at me in this broadcast is the physical reality. I hadn't really thought about it. You think physical ascension, you think, oh, my body's going to change, and I'm going to go through this, I'm going to go through that, but the magic is in the cells. The magic is in the physicality as well. And I'm just understanding that right now as we're having this conversation. You know what? That opens up a whole new, and it makes total sense. It makes absolute total sense. We're talking about instantaneous healing. We're talking about instantaneous creativity and manifestation, and it makes sense, because this is more than a bag of bones. It's actually the pure love energy, the free energy that you're talking about, and we're in command of an entire universe. So this is good stuff. Yeah, this is really good. I like it. It's plain, it's simple, and it's easy to understand.
So in regards to that, I jump back to the 60th gene, because the 60th gene in the shadow frequency is about a rigid structure, too much red tape. So a simple structure allows magic to flow. That's when we ease up. That's when we balance the mind and get everything still. We become the simple structure, and the external systems also that we create are the simple structures. But the point being, the gifting frequency is called realism, and it's about the common sense of magic, exactly what you're saying. So we are the container. We are ultimately meant to transcend this container, or for this container to go through a metamorphic process. And yes, it is about the container allowing the energy to flow. That energy is the magic. It's called life.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
More magical than the word life. Like,
yeah,
it keeps on giving.
Right. Yeah. Right. And that's still, and that goes back to what I've been feeling, and doing the hashtag human is the hero. The human's got to make that conscious choice. The human is more than a factor. I mean, it's like, and so this whole embodiment, going beyond just the physical transformation into the magic, including every single cell in us at the atomic level, it makes absolute sense. So, talking to our DNA in 2018 or 2017 is a totally different thing than what you're talking about. Talking to our DNA in 2019 carries a lot more impact and power. And this, again, is going to take some getting used to, but I think it's as I talked to Stuart Blackburn on the previous show, this is a lifestyle. This is a way of life.
Exactly. And it's an inside job. Mm-hmm. And that's why the guidance started having our crew, instead of us looking at each other and going, I love you, thank you, say, I love me, thank me. Because we haven't done enough of what that really means.
Mm-hmm.
That is the talking to the cells and the DNA. I mean, Dr. Emoto, I have this beautiful book in my tiny home, and it's, Love Thyself. And it's Dr. Emoto and all those amazing structures in the water that he photographed. As we know, we talked about it many times before, we are bags of water. And so this is when we really go into that process, if we haven't already, to really begin to talk to the cells, to talk to every aspect of the body. It is Joe Dispenza had an event I went to in Sardinia last year called The Love Affair with the Divine. That means close your eyes, go within, and be in love with what's inside, which is the blackness of space, which is where transformation truly takes a quantum leap. That's where the transformation occurs. I've got some cool things to share.
Yeah. That's the real deal, I mean, and when we don't have, we've all been talking to ourselves. But again, we're in a different category now. This is a powerful thing, because it's more than just positive attitude. This is actually, we're the programmer. We're programming. We're running a new operating system, and to me, this I don't want to say the biggest challenge, but to me, at the first, 13, 14 days of the year, it's like, wow, this is going to take some getting used to. This is actually happening. This is real, and it's only going to happen if we feed it. If we actually go with it. And when you talk about the thing about the money and the old systems and the old ways of doing things and structuring things and controlling things, I mean, they don't work. So maybe one way to look at it is do what we haven't done before. Because the other thing I'm seeing too is I'm seeing manifestation with myself and other people, and it's happening, and it can't be denied. You can see it, touch it, feel it. It's happening.
Exactly. And like you say, it's been happening all along. And now with this idea of new operating system, if this is a holographic reality and we don't really exist here, but it feels like we do, then we have all the power to transform at a quantum level now that we get it. It's like you and me sitting here looking at each other on the screen. Is this any different than being in the same room together? Is any of it really existent as we think it is? And so if that is the case, then we can change everything instantly. And so now a lot of the what we're going to see in social media, because we're still going to use this old rootstock web that exists, you're going to find a whole lot of very positive love streams, live feeds, information strictly coming from the place of, all right, here's what we do, because all of the stories have been released. Yeah. So we don't have to be there or go there now. Now we're going, I find that this works to turn on the higher DNA. I find that this works to turn off the old programs and so on. Or we can just relax and breathe, as your previous guest said. The thing being is that we're all helping each other. This is the joy of it, to come together in communion and share these pieces. And now it's simplistic because we really, according to the guidance, the hologram of good and evil dissolved on the eve of the new moon partial solar eclipse that occurred on the 4th, 5th of January.
That was a big day. Yeah, it was a big day. Yeah, I think we felt a little bit of the repercussions of that. And coming up into this, this next one, which is what, the 20th or 21st?
20th, yeah, 20th, 21st. Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I'm guided to share this piece that occurred for me in 2017. As I shared, I was shown in 2016 to take a group to Egypt in 2017, and exactly what we would do to help end the victim-victimizer consciousness on the earth. And so, just before our group went to Egypt, I could see the intensity of what we were about to be put through, and the little part of me wanted to pull out and go like, oh my God, this is just so big and no one's going to get it and it's going to be mayhem. And so I called everyone on our team and I said, let's just hold off. It's the middle of summer in Egypt. It's 45 degrees. Let's go another time. And that very same day, I got 3 messages from Spirit that I was not going to change my mind or the plans. And the final one occurred when I was walking down the street and I sprained my ankle, and instantly the guidance came in and said, are you really going to miss your destiny appointment to take your people of the Exodus home to Zion? So I got in the car and started driving, and the buildings around the road disappeared and the road dissolved away and my car around me, and it was me and my steering wheel in my hand. And
that's powerful.
The guidance went, case in point, do you get it? It's real. And I went, okay, I get it. We'll go to Egypt. Can you bring back the buildings and the road? Because I think yeah. So these are, we've all got different experiences where our higher self was baiting us on. Another metaphor that I like to use is, it's like, we've kind of been these lost stray dogs. And if you find a lost stray dog on the side of the road in the middle of the night, you go through your glove box and see what kind of food you have in there, maybe to help get it into the car so you can take it somewhere where it's safe. Well, the higher selves have been baiting us along with little experiences to give us a taste of what's coming, to keep us on track. So our dear friend Elawan, who's part of the pod here, it was her birthday in early January, and Ruthie and I took her to the Butterfly Sanctuary, which of course was a perfectly incredible place to go during this process, and to see the case that had all of the cocoons hanging side by side, and they were all at different parts of their hatching process. And so there was one beautiful butterfly, a Morphe, the blue ones from Costa Rica, and it was like 1/3 of the way out of the cocoon. So it was broken open, and the cocoon next to it just had a little hole in it. And this butterfly kept putting its hand on the other cocoon while it was trying to get out of its own cocoon. And I was joking, saying, that's us with each other going, come on, Joe, we only have 5 days once we turn into butterflies. So we can stay in that cocoon while I'm out here hatching, flying around. We're doing this together. So that beautiful metaphor, and when you see the cocoons and the hole that breaks open. And the other night I was lying in my bed just looking at the ceiling, and the guidance reminded me of what occurred when I was driving down the road and when everything disappeared, and said, you know, it's still coming. As you're looking at something, it is all going to dissolve.
Yeah.
Your eyes. It's coming.
We've had, since Morgan's been here, we've had, and actually prior to that, but here, we've had, I don't know, I don't remember, 3 or 4 times when we're laying in bed and we know it's there, you know, and I'm sticking my hand up and all you can see is a stump because it's like disappears. And she's looking at it, where'd your hand go? You know, and I played with it a little bit too. You know, I would lay there and I would play with my hands and the energy. I could see the energy. I could create, basically. I mean, I didn't really know what I was doing because it wasn't an environment I was familiar with. But yeah, I think that's what you're talking about. And I've had some double takes here too, especially the first 4 or 5 weeks before she got here, when I was walking around the island, things happening, a dragon appeared, or, you know, just different things. It was almost like there was a one point where there was a different, what do you call it? Like layers. So there was a layer of this in front of me 3 feet away. There was a layer back here. There was a layer here up to, and they all came into one. And I was like, am I seeing this? You know? So yeah, that's another good thing too, because I think people are experiencing that type of stuff, and for us to talk about it, for you to talk about it, is important because it's real. It's actually happening.
And Kauai is a phenomenal place to experience that aspect of Kauai, like that always where you go like, come on, this is a hologram. It's not real.
Yeah. It is. And, you know, I had just come out of Sedona, which was another one, you know, but yeah, I think it's almost like, and I tell Morgan, you know, I told her, it's like, it's everywhere you go, there's portals everywhere. And maybe some places are more active, or, you know, they've been more cared for, they've retained their originality, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. It's going on everywhere.
And to keep in mind that what is outside is within, and the portals, the Stargate portals, are within us. So as we are having the experiences that you're sharing, it's because you're transforming within simultaneous, and that's why you're having the experience. And the one thing that I like to invite people to do a lot is play with their first eye in the dark at night, like walk through forests. I did this for years. It was such amazing training for my own awareness, where I would go in the forest at sunset and walk through without a light. So I would see it change from colors to the neutrals, to the black, whites, and grays, and then go into complete darkness. And that started to train my consciousness for what this is in a fun and enjoyable way. And it also helps people overcome any fear that they have of the dark and the forest and all those things. So it's all good training. But right now, like when Ruthie and Elle and I go for walks in the evening, when we're walking down the road, I'll say, all right, just look straight ahead. Look from your first eye, like we are walking through a Stargate. Where are we going to this time? And just feel and see ourselves walk through. And as we do, we're in the appropriate attire. We've gone to the tropics. Now we've got shorts on. We all look at each other and just step right into the scene and keep going and have fun, because that's what is occurring.
I love this comment. I just saw this comment pop up. Lawrence Wendell. There are no borders that we cannot cross. I carry no ID, no passports, as they assume separation and support the separation paradigm. Borders are a false narrative construct and require agreement and belief. Our work is in releasing all forms of limiting beliefs that impose limits. And I'm sorry to say it, people, but this is the real deal. these things, these rules, these regulations, these lawless laws, whatever you want to call them, you know, this isn't a fight. This isn't good and evil. This is just simply what he's saying. These are constructs that got to go. And that's the reality. You're not going to be in a room or whatever and stick your hand up and your arm disappear, you know, with any type of frequency or sustainability, if we're still tied to these constructs. You know, we got to make the leap. And I think that's what this year's about.
100%. Lawrence and I met at a very special event in Ions in 2011. It was an event of Nelson Harriman's and the Resonance Project. And we've been communing since I came back onto social media recently. And same, this has been a huge part of my sharing on the earth, is this very same thing, that when I did the grid work all the years and went through no trespassing zones and climbed military fences on the guidance, and the earth saying, you are made of me. There is no place upon me that you cannot walk, for you are me and I am you. And so that dissolved for me, that belief. And they are constructs exactly. This is why we are sharing. This is the purpose of the web now and the social media. And this is all you will be hearing from the true avatars, who are the oracles, who have the true alpha gene and can assert their authority upon the field for transformation. That is actually programmed in the genes. And it says the oracles are not self-serving. They have no self-serving agenda. They are heart marketing because they are reading what is in the collective. So the oracle is on the cutting edge, and the oracles are the ones like you and me who are doing these shows and broadcasts and sharing, and like Lawrence and so on, because the power is within us all to do this through our thought, our word, our belief. So just let it go. And this transmission came through with Ruthie and Elwan and I last night, and it was so profound. And when it ended with huge silence, and it said, money is the biggest con game that ever occurred.
Yeah, and debt. And debt. Well, it's all tied together.
And monopoly games under the Christmas tree for children to train people, indoctrinate the mind into these borders, boundaries, beliefs, passports, all of it. Same. It's not real, and it's done.
Yeah, and we're going to be, there's no question that we're, each and every one of us is going to be that's going to be put before us. And it's going to be the same recipe as before. It's just taken on taken on more of a physicality, you know, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the last stage is the physical ascension. And what you talked about at the top of the show, we're all going to be faced with that. And that's all there is to it. It's let go or be dragged. It's coming, you know, and again, there's no guidance but the guidance we receive ourselves. You know, there's no rule, there's no guidebook, there's no owner's manual, how to. This is why we came. This is what we're doing. Yeah. Alicia? Uh-oh. Well, I don't know if she's still on. Let me see if she's still on. Hang on. Let go or be dragged. It's coming. Okay, let's see. And again, Unity Grace has frozen? No.
He's coming through the gate.
There you go. You're back. You're back. Can you hear me? Unity. Oh, she's gone. Well, we got 94 people in the house. I see that, let's see, where is that note? Lawrence Wendell sees Morgan said, would you be interested in coming on the show? There she is. Okay. And so I just wanted to say that. Unity's back. We're good. We got about 7 or 8 more minutes, so that was good. I thought you were gone, man. I didn't know what happened.
Yeah, you too. I know. Actually, I was going to suggest Lawrence on the show also, and because all we need is the crew that keeps reiterating the same message. Yeah. And what I have been saying now, and from the time that I went into the cocoon, starting last September, was no more airplanes, no more cars. I want to give you a great big hug, Todd Medina, and so many more. And I'm doing it through the Stargate. I'm not doing it through these old means. And the more of us who go, okay, agreed, including Lawrence Wendell, would love to give you a great hug. So let's do this thing that we know that we're here to do, which is walk through these gates, dissolve the boundaries. This is the task. This is, we can talk the talk, we can have no passports and all of these things. Now let's get real. And this is the 60th gene. This is the love stream that I shared recently, and I will read it again because I've been reading it over and over on my love streams for years. It is the Earthship Merkaba. It's called Judgment Day. When the 60th CD begins to ignite in multiple beings, it will be the ending of the world as we know it. The true collective Merkaba is Gaia herself. When the Earth disappears, it will do so suddenly, and all the cells that have held the consciousness we call Gaia will move to another reality. How do we know? This has already occurred. It's programmed within us. And it is concealed from our view, from the laws, from higher aspects of our own nature. And the two things we have to transcend are gravity and time, our belief in gravity and time. Evolution demands time, localization demands space. And when I was given the coordinates to take the team to Egypt in 2017, the guidance said that we would go there, we would give back the victim, victimizer, Christ, Antichrist consciousness, meaning polarity. We would give back the two-strand DNA and open to receive the triple helix, which is transcendent of time and gravity, and prepare ourselves for what is already happened. So let's have fun. Let's relax. Let's go into meditation often. Let's meet there. Let's reach out for each other's hand and actually feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's make it real.
Yeah. And so when you start levitating, don't be surprised. I'm doing good with the time thing. I can tell you that right now. That's being removed piece by piece.
Yeah.
But the gravity thing, that's I just watched. We actually just watched Interstellar for the first time 2 or 3 days ago, and that's what that was all about. The whole gravity thing. That was interesting. It was an interesting and timely watch. I will say that. I think that was right after the eclipse. Well, it's always beautiful spending time with you. You know, we're here to support you on this platform. Always in the flow. Anytime you got, you want to, just ring me up. Let's just keep going with it. Somebody put the site that you were talking about, the .love site you were talking about up. I don't know if somebody else could put it up again toward the bottom of the comments. That would be great. What's the name of it? Pure
Energy.love. That's Sandal Kwan. He's playing great music, and we are currently making Unity Transmissions.love. The team has set it up so that when I go live, it'll go out to multiple platforms. So we're just about to launch that. PureEnergy.love, the best music to keep your vibration high. Yeah. Because that's all we're doing now. Just stay in meditation, the whole brain state, meditate. We choose it. It's about our vibration. Take our focus off anything that is a distraction. Collapse all polarities, even if they're tiny, back within.
Sandalphon, where's Sandalphon at? Is he in San Diego?
He's in California, in Ventura.
Oh, he's in LA area.
Yeah. And we have at Lucidity in April our PureEnergy.love Dome. It would be amazing to have you join us there.
When is that going to be?
I think it's the 7th to the 11th, something like that.
What month? Yeah. What month?
April.
Oh, April.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're kind of feeling maybe March in Sedona. There's a couple of functions over there, but I kind of feel the mainland in the early spring. We'll just have to, you know, here we go. Here we go. This is the way it goes.
Let's do it by walking through the gates. Let's not get on planes. Let's just be there.
Yeah.
See ourselves there. It is the water pavilion at Lucidity that PureEnergy.love is creating as well. And it's all about the vibration. So I want to see all of us there, and I want to do it by walking through these gates within. So go within, meditate, love, be high vibration, and remember that we are the creators, that none of this is real, that there is no separation, and just choose love. And
relax. I'll see you later.
Love you, Todd.
Good seeing you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. We'll be right back with Yvonne from Tasmania.
All right.
Divine Feminine. All right, we'll see you.
Have fun.
Bye, Unity.
Love you so much.